Good morning. I'm calling this meeting to order at 8:08 on October 6th, 2025. This is a meeting of the Special Committee for Recruitment of a City Manager. We are waiting for our official clerk, so in that stead, I will call the roll. Councilmember Fears.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins.
Here.
And I am here as chair of the committee. Also in a part of this committee are Lisa Reynolds, Charlie DeSalle, Jason Newkirk, and Carissa Smith. I've just called the roll. So parts of this are able to be conducted in open, and I wanted to just take a few minutes and review our process. When we get to this section where we're going to speak candidly about particular firms, we will go into closed, then we will come back into open to discuss which one of these organizations advances. Just to talk about process, we submitted our RFP. The clients had 2 weeks to respond to that. We received 13 applications with a variety of types of respondents. Our scoring matrix was agreed to in a previous meeting. The first set of the scoring will be out of 100 points. Those evaluation criteria include the qualifications and expertise, past performance, and provision of references, the evaluation of the skill of the project manager and team, the actual completeness of the proposal, methodology, the time required to complete the project, and the cost of the complete project. In advance, our procurement officer went through and ranked them based on the costs associated with each proposal. So we had that as a document to begin. I'm just going to read the names of those who submitted applications since that is a public document. We have ARNT Municipal Support, Berkeley Search Consultants, Bob Murray and Associates, Colin Basinger, CPS HR Consulting, MGT, Academic Partners, Ready Set Exec, Raftellus, Renee Narlock and Associates, Strategic Government Resources, and TKT and Associates. So those are the 13 that we received. Everyone had their scoring matrix and had the opportunity to score them for the last week. Anything else anybody wants to add to that overview? Did I miss anything or misstate anything? Okay, fair enough. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into closed.
I'll make that motion. Second.
So we have a first and a second. All those in favor of going into closed to discuss specific proposals, please say. All right, that's unanimous. So at this point, we will go into closed session and we will.
It would be closed under 610-021, section 12, sealed bids and related documents.
Thank you very much. And do we have a decision on?
I have not received a call back from Jeremy.
I tried to call you.
Yeah, it was my team's message.
Okay. So colleagues, this is where we have to make a decision because we're going into closed. I think it has to be just the members or else we're at a full quorum. And we have to suspend our recording of the meeting because we're now in a closed session. Is that correct, Suzanne?
Officially closed.
We're officially closed and we're excusing our colleagues. We have left the closed portion of the meeting. We are back in open. We have reviewed the 13 proposals and are going to bring these two forward for a follow-up visit, and that will be Strategic Government Resources, SGR, and Colin Benzinger and Associates. And we will make arrangements to have both of them present to us. The next question for us is the types of questions we would like to be sure that they answer. And so we'll just begin that conversation just as everybody has the opportunity to raise those questions. So
I think we talked about it, but I think one of the questions has to be, how do you handle an election season while recruiting? And I fine tune that maybe a little bit, but I think that has to be a question that's asked.
okay. So election season and budget seasons?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is,
Yes.
We talked with them about our timeline and, you know, if they have, based on that, if they have any recommendations for, you know, adjusting their proposed timeline.
we want to ask them, I would like to ask them about their process for public engagement, what they recommend, how they've used that in the past. Their process for staff input, if they do, you know, a sampling of key departments and they get their own panel. Some of them had one-on-one interviews with each council member. That seems pretty overwhelming. I would think we would be able to do 2 or 3 council members at a time or a panel. So we'll need to understand how they do that portion. I like the idea of the writing sample and understanding how they approach that.
Diversity of our community and ad placement.
Okay, excellent.
Certainly a review of key people and their staff that are gonna be helping us and why they're the right people. We're essentially hiring them for fit as well.
I'd like to understand sort of what their post-placement follow-up looks like, whether they provide any supports to the new city manager. Obviously, we'll have them give an overview of their corporation, how they do their work, why we think they're a fit. Just to outline the 2 that we chose, both had work in the Midwest. They had deep teams. They brought multiple references. They had done cities comparable to our size. The staff principles that they put forward seemed to be highly competent. They each did background checks before we reached final interview. They both emphasized the communication skills of the city manager candidates. I think they both provided sensible timelines. So just an overview of those 2. Anything else that we want to be sure that we hit on when they're here? And I'm happy to work with Rich and we'll come up with some questions. Anybody can submit questions. I'm looking over at all these people with HR backgrounds.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We've got all these folks.
And maybe you have a set of standard questions that we could start from would be a better place. Actually, sorry to throw you under the bus, Rich. I'm gonna be working with Carissa.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, a number of you have been through this
Yeah.
recently on a number, and so you may have a better sense of this than we do in some regards, in terms of things that we ought to be addressing or talking with them about.
I think one area we may just want to explore is obviously they all have the guaranteed 1-year guarantee, but what's the average that their placements actually stay
That's a good
and
point.
last,
Yeah.
right? Just truly so we can get an understanding, right? Are they truly just focusing on those ones that are, I just want to get out and they're moving, and then in 2 years they're moving on again? Now, some of that is out of their control, obviously, but it does give us a good idea. I think the disc assessments would be good too.
Okay.
It will help truly everybody, right? Because it goes into their management style, their communication style, interpersonal skills, all of those things.
Sorry.
No, you're-
Did both of these have that risk assessment? I can't remember. I know that,
Certainly Colin Benzinger, yes,
okay,
each one charged for it. But both of them recommended it.
And we can just do those on the top, obviously the top candidates, right? But give us a good idea.
Found it interesting that in all of their background checks, nobody checks to see if they paid their taxes. That just seems like a thing, like we have to be sure that we paid our taxes to run for office. Maybe I'm naive. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we have a plan. We've got the two that we're gonna advance, and we have an overview of the types of questions we want to ask. Since there's only two, it should be pretty easy to do the scheduling. So fantastic. When do we have our next one
I think
set
we had
up?
that attendee scheduled for later this week.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Your third, yeah.
I don't know that we. Do you think we can get them by Wednesday? Or, I know we had that in case we needed to extend our conversations, but clearly we're done.
We asked him in the, I thought we asked.
We,
him
we had
in the,
October 14th as a day set aside
Okay.
for an actual get together,
That's right.
presentation day.
Yeah.
So we are officially gonna be able to cancel the Wednesday meeting, so congratulations, you have 2 hours of your life back. And,
Hang on just a second. Before we do that, so, we had that discussion scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. Would it be worth contacting them and see if the two of them are available in that time frame and we move it up? I mean, that buys us almost a full week. If they're available. If they're not, then I think you go with the other, but
we,
I mean, I can reach out to them and see if
Okay.
they're available.
I mean.
I mean, I guess, here's where I go with it. When we talk about availability, what kind of time block do you want to commit to them? Do you want to give them an hour or hour 15 minutes? And stretch out our time a little bit? We've got, 1 to 3. Give them like, I don't know, the whole process, hour, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Little break, another hour, 15 minutes.
how about we give them an hour and we have 15 minutes for discussion afterwards?
That's
Don't we have something going on after, or went that Wednesday to here?
That's,
Well, Zach,
say that again.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Move it, just give them set up the time frame for Wednesday or the 14th.
Yeah, because we gave them that in the,
Yeah.
I feel like if we keep our word for this is where we set it up for them, I would prefer that.
I just was I just thought gain a week out of the process, then, that moves things up that much more if we need it,
and, as far as like questions to ask them, this is for you guys as a group. Do you want to give them some in advance or just hold back and hit them cold? Because that's the general line of, what comes back, hey, you guys are found favor, we'd like to have you come in. Everybody's gonna ask, what do they want to know? Do you have some
Okay.
questions that we could be ready for in advance? So I'm just setting that up for you
What do you
guys to think about.
Okay, I think the budget one and the.
I agree. We give them in advance.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah.
get that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they need to look at our schedules and know, because if you hit them cold, they're not even gonna know possibly we have an election in April. So
In
Okay.
fact, should we go,
February.
we can do it with the election cycle for sure, what the election dates are. Give that to them, then I don't guess it's more of a staff question. What would be a comfortable timeline for our financial process for our budget? And however you guys think internally would be a good way to
Give us some.
cancel that out for them so they have an understanding.
And we put that together in past years. We can just see if Melissa can get that whole process put together. Or
Yeah,
Alex,
I mean, it doesn't have to have hard dates, but you know what I mean.
general, this is what we go off of.
Timelines, yeah.
So anyway, whenever you have the ones that you definitely want to
Yes.
give them in advance, let me know and I'll give that to them as I set up
Okay.
the meeting times with them.
Fantastic. Any other feedback or thoughts?
Good conversation.
All right, and we will call this meeting adjourned at 8:59.